Hi, and welcome back to Conversations on Natural Birth. This is Mia White. I'm the author of the book Beautifully Born Empowering Women for Natural Birth. And this here is Vienna, my ninth baby, about to be born anytime now, really. In this video, we're discussing stage 2 of active labor. This is a really important phase to understand. And I was never taught about this as I went through my first 3 births, getting ready to birth in the hospital. Nobody taught me the transition between stage 1 and stage 2. And because I didn't understand what was going on in my body entering stage 2 of labor, I was absolutely floored by the experience and became terrified. Now, that is what we absolutely do not want for you. You are able to birth beautifully, and you need to be empowered to know that. You need to understand what is going on in your body so that you don't fight against it, but you work with the process of labor, even during stage 2, which is an intense phase of labor, which normally does not last as long as stage 1. Stage 1 is when our cervix is opening up, like things are opening up inside of us. In stage 2 is when it's open and your baby is starting to descend down into the birth canal. Now, when we say it like that, it sounds like it's some kind of long journey that this baby is going to make. But when we look at an actual physical body, we're not talking like it's not a long way this baby is going to travel, but it's actually in stage 2, descending down into the birth canal to be born. The stage after this, stage 3, is when we are pushing the baby out. But before the pushing phase, there is a stage 2 that is very intense. So what happens with our contractions during stage 2 is that they intensify and they become very close together. So we don't get as much of a break between contractions as we did before. And we may not be able to do any of what we did before. In between contractions in stage 1, we can talk to people, we can be ourselves and be quite normal. Stage 2, when we transition, we know it because it takes our full attention, and it becomes more intense. And contractions can start to roll almost back to back. And remember, they're still like waves. They still will be able to, you will be able to know that there is a peak of intensity that is more intense than in stage 1, peak of intensity, but it does taper off. And our breathing will intensify. We don't need to hyperventilate. We have to practice the same relaxation skills, making sure that from our forehead, our jaws, our mouth staying open, our neck and our shoulders relaxed, our hips moving, our legs bent. All of the same things apply during the stage and become even more crucial during the stage. The breathing will become more intense because of the intensity of the contractions, and we need to also during, well, you will see in birth videos women starting to make sounds, whether they were trying to or not, like whether their intention, like it's natural to the body, and let that happen. Oohing sounds, like sounds of that just kind of releases the intensity of the experience. Now, as I was giving birth, I think to my 7th and 8th children, is when I discovered a key for me during this stage, that I didn't have to be afraid to move during this stage, even though the baby is descending down. So actually I started to do this ragdoll doll dance to stay very, very fluid. And what I discovered was that when I was not afraid to move, even in the midst of an intense second stage contraction, the contraction actually lost some of its intensity, and the baby descended with more ease. So if you think about it, let's say that the baby is about to descend down, but you are not afraid to move your leg out to the side, to sway and to allow, this movement, the baby will descend easier and quicker. And it will, it just helps. So as much as you can, don't go rigid or stiff. And of course, counteract the fear by the thoughts that you choose to think, and visualize that your baby is getting so close. Your baby is getting very, very close. This is like the time before the pushing, and the baby is actually coming down. So welcome it. Welcome you. You are welcome. Come out. You are welcome into the world. You are welcome out into the light. You are welcome into my arms. Just keep it really positive like that. At this point, of course, you need to know that your midwife is around, or that you are in the hospital, safely, because at any time you will be transitioning into the pushing phase, which is such an intriguing phase, and there's a lot of misconception about it. So let's talk about that in the next video. I'll see you then.